Hello, colleagues from Management 210. This is Dr. O again. I hope you're doing really well this week. In this short video, we're going to take a look at some aspects of teamwork in the workplace. Just these two are the main things we're going to look at. What are the attributes of effective teams? And then we're also going to look a bit at the life cycle, the typical growth pattern of groups as they become effective teams. Take a careful look at this picture, if you would. What do you think it takes for this group of women to operate effectively as a team? Are you thinking about individual skill, the coordination of the skill, the coxswain at the front giving direction, time spent together to be completely coordinated? This is probably a group of people where one hero or a couple of people who are very strong can pull it off and save the team. You need a number of people pitching in together, working collaboratively to make a successful team in this regard. There'd be some pretty clear signals if you aren't quite coordinated and quite focused with everyone pulling with full effort. Now, the view of teamwork in our book, The Principles of Management, draws from the work of these two authors, Katzenbach and Smith. And actually, they're drawing from a Harvard Business Review article that they wrote. And I've liked the work of these authors. Why? Well, because their work originally was based on what they saw, what they learned as they helped organizations try to deploy teams effectively and productively in real workplaces, not just in laboratories. So I really admire that aspect of the work that they've done. They give us this simple definition. There's one of many that we could use, but let's start with this. A team is people organized to function cooperatively as a group. So it's not just people who are sitting near each other, as this collection of people is doing, but they have to function cooperatively. They have to be organized. I'd say they also have to be chasing some goals together. Katzenbach and Smith tell us about 5 attributes of teams that are really very important if a team's going to be highly effective. Commitment, of course, to a common purpose. What are you chasing together? Commitment to achieving goals and doing that together. Commitment, to complementary skills being valued, but having those complementary skills in the group. And if you don't have all the skills you need, are you willing to grow and develop what's needed, even as a member of a team that's underway? Commitment to how to work. How are we going to treat each other? What are our ground rules? What do we agree we're all going to pitch in, and how we're going to do it to make this team effective? And accountability, right? When people say they're going to do something, do they do their best to get it done? And if not, do they clearly communicate to the rest of the group? And does the group hold one another accountable for the work that needs to be done? 5 attributes of highly effective teams. Now, in that short bit of reading in the text, you'll see the distinction that's drawn between teams and working groups. And the authors are committed to the idea that these are not necessarily the same thing. A lot of work in organizations gets done through working groups. A department might have work that's broken down and distributed to individuals, and together they're contributing to an overarching mission, maybe primarily to the organization's mission. There's projects that can be divided up but don't need to be terribly well coordinated. It's a sum of individual pieces. You put it together and you've got something done. I have observed that a lot of group team projects in education really are working groups. That the level of coordination achieved by a number of them isn't very high. But there is potential when work really requires integration, connection with one another to create the shared product not just the attachment of several unassociated pieces. That is when you have a real team functioning. Now, some authors of the name of Tuckman and Jensen proposed this model. As I recall reading about it, they had observed, some of the things that were known about group activity, and they wrote this to propose this model to create some conversation among people who are interested in teams. Little did they know it was going to stick and be taught years and years and years later in courses like this. Forming, that's when the team members first get together, get acquainted, right? They join the team. Often that's followed by some degree of storming. Maybe not too bad, maybe pretty intense, where there's some vying for leadership, vying for the exact specific directions that the group is going to take. Over time, some norms develop. There's patterns, there's agreed upon ways of getting things done. They start to happen, and then you're actually performing. You're focusing this connected set of efforts on getting the job done, and it's happening. The real performing is happening. Now, Katzenbach and Smith provide one more diagram that's captured in our teamwork chapter, and that shows the same kind of idea, that working groups can get things done, and it might not require a team, but as a working group spends time together, it might use the word team, right? And the word team is used very loosely in business to apply to 15,000 people in a company as a team. And I get the idea, right? I mean, it's collaborative spirit pointing in a direction, but as Katzenbach and Smith would look at it, to be a team is not really a huge number of people. I think they might even go up to like 25. A lot of social psychologists say the best performing groups where everyone can be heard and contribute are probably more like 8 to 12. But the word team is used quite broadly, and I'm not here to argue too strongly against that. Katzenbach and Smith say that over time, potential to be a team develops a real team that are doing the 5 things we talked about just a moment ago, and maybe others, start to connect, start to click, and can become a high-performing team, which is what people are after in business. Well, that's been a quick look at a definition of teams, 5 attributes of effective teams, and a life cycle view of team development, which is, we know, not always as linear, or so it doesn't always follow the curve that we have been looking at, but it gives you a lens, a way of thinking about the development of a group you're in and what might be happening as you navigate the team's growth and accomplishment of the work you're doing together. Well, I hope you enjoyed this quick look at these aspects of teamwork, and I'm going to post another short video that picks it up from there. Have a great day.